Hi guys, I'm in the middle of doing a little conversion on a radio controlled car, but I've just read the comments on my emails and I've got a question from Mihir Patel. Wants to know if I can do a compression spring powered car, because I did a torsion spring many years ago, and I've recently done some flat springs, but he wants a compression spring. So I've just run upstairs and grabbed my Rubber Band powered car. I've had a look to see what I can find, and I found a couple of springs that we can compress. So I take that to be a compression spring. I'm not sure how powerful I need it to be, but this is just for demonstration purposes anyway. Whatever you build, you'd have to choose your spring to do whatever you want. And if I squeeze that, this is quite a strong spring, and we've only got about an inch of travel there, haven't we? And this one is a weaker spring, and again I'm only getting about an inch of travel. So if we're looking at wrapping that 1 inch around the axle of a car, we're not going to get very many turns. But what I'm looking at doing is put the spring on a tube like that just to hold it in place, drill a hole in here. I'll put a link in the video description to the original build for this car. It just happens to be a handy chassis, and it will save me building a completely new chassis. So I'm going to drill a hole there that's small enough for this to go through, or big enough for this to go through, but not big enough for the spring to go through, so that when it goes through there, the spring is held in place. I'll put a T-piece on the end of the rod so that actually crushes the spring as we pull the tube back. And at the other end of the tube, I'll cut it off. It only needs to be about that long, so I'll cut it off about there somewhere, and then drill a hole in that so we can attach the string to it, and the string will go back round the axle. So as we wind the axle up, that will be pulling the tube in and compressing the spring, and then when we let it go, that will fly out and that will pull the string off the axle, making the axle spin. So that's what I'll do. I'll go and drill a hole there, cut that to the length I want it, put a T-piece on the end of it to hold the spring in place, and that should do. Ideally I'd have a couple of cross members just to hold it still, stop it rocking around, but we'll do it as quick as possible because I want to get this done. Well, I've done the modifications, drilled the holes, drilled a hole there for the tube to go through and a hole there for the string to go through. The spring is on the tube, so as we pull the string, it will compress the spring. So if I just loop that over the hook I've got on the back axle, like that, as we wind it up, you'll see the spring is compressing. So the spring is in compression. Problem is, it's very powerful. So I've had to put rubber tyres on the back wheels to give extra grip, and these batteries are just there for weight to try and hold the back wheels on the ground, because when I let it go, we get wheel spin. Are we ready? I'll chase it with the camera. That's all the spring did. It's now freewheeling. So there we go. That was about 8 meters. So it works. Spring compression being converted to rotational movement. So I can't remember what it's called. Straight movement, rotational movement. And we're using a spring to provide or store the power. We actually provide the power by winding it up and compressing it. So it's storing the power, and when we let it go free, the spring is pulling the string, which is making the axle rotate, and the car goes forwards. A quick recap. What we have here is a compression spring powered car, special request. So the power is stored in this spring when it's compressed. When we wind the axle backwards, it's pulling the string that's compressing the spring. That is storing the power. If you want the build video for this car, you'll have to check the video description. There'll be a link for it. It was originally a rubber band powered car, but it was a convenient chassis to grab to do a quick modification for this purpose. This method of storing the power, there's a lot of power stored there very quickly. So I needed to add weight on the back and rubber tyres to stop the wheels spinning. And the way it works is it accelerates quickly, and then all the power has been used up. It then freewheels the rest of the distance. And we did 8 meters quite easily. I'll just say it one more time. Check the video description for additional information. Thanks for watching. You'll find more information down in the video description. You might like to watch that video up there, and you might like to subscribe over there.